at both TF Labs and NIF Mint, and I couldn't be more excited to be hosting this panel today with fantastic speakers. Guys, I'd love if you just go down the line and introduce yourselves and give a quick intro on what you do.
So I'm Tushan at Carney. Really glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm the Chief Growth and Product Officer at Celsius, and the simplest way to think about that is Celsius is a cryptocurrency platform. We allow people to bring their cryptocurrency in and really transact on our platform, anything from exchange to taking a loan at a low APR, getting yield on your coins. And my teams are responsible for bringing coins in. So I look after product management, product design, marketing, comms, partnerships, BD teams. So essentially anything responsible for bringing coins in, both on the retail side and the institutional side.
All right. I'm Sung Choi. I'm the SVP of Strategy at CoinMe. I have this persistent cough, so excuse me for this coughing that I'm doing, but not contagious. I test every day because I have a 4-month-old, and I get out quite a bit, I guess. But CoinMe allows you to buy and sell cryptocurrencies and store it in our custodial wallet. We allow you to do this via physical locations through partnerships with companies like Coinstar and MoneyGram. We also offer an API service to businesses like banks and fintechs and other financial institutions where you can offer crypto to your customers via a white label solution that we provide and through APIs that have been live since 2018.
Hey everyone, my name is Corey Huang. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Stably. Stably was founded in 2018 right here in Seattle. Actually, I co-founded Stably together with Brian here way back in the day, and even though we're not at the same company anymore, once a founder, always a founder. So really glad to be sitting here next to him again and having this panel with everyone. Stably is a stablecoin infrastructure as well as fiat to stablecoin on and off ramp company. We provide stablecoin as a service as well as on-ramp, fiat on-ramp to emerging blockchain ecosystems. Some of the names that we have worked with include Tezos, Stellar, VeChain, Chia Network, among some others. And yeah, really glad to be here today. Shout out to Jonathan for always inviting me. And yeah, would love to share more insights on the stablecoin industry as well as the multi-chain industry as well.
Good morning, everyone. Jonathan, thanks again for bringing me into this event. Very excited to see everyone here, some familiar faces. My name is Brian Guy. I'm the SVP of AppTech. AppTech is headquartered in San Diego. We are building a modern fintech platform powering commerce experiences. Our two primary products are banking as a service and payments as a service that we wrap in a number of patents that we've been acquiring over the last few years. Recently, we uplisted to NASDAQ to help fuel our growth. That includes hiring, building out our platform, as well as identifying strategic partnerships and alliances that we can help form and fund. So very excited about that. So if you're interested in any of those topics, feel free to hit me up after the panel.
Thank you all. And one thing I thought was fun was in the pre-pandemic era, when we do panels like this, people would always caveat with, this is not financial advice. But now that we're in the post-pandemic era, I feel like people are often saying this is not financial advice and this is not COVID. So I like this little paradigm shift or addendum we have now to things we hear on panels. So let me just start this off with a super simple question. I'm a business. I want to take crypto payments on my website. Why don't I just stick up a wallet address and let my CFO bash his head against those filings? Why do businesses need to be thinking about the services that you all are offering?
I guess I can answer that first. So there's a lot of businesses out there that are actually not very aware of crypto yet. Even though we see Bitcoin and stable coins all over the news, there's a lot of people out there that are still trying to figure out how can they actually utilize this technology and how it can be beneficial for them. So for a non-crypto native business to go directly into taking crypto payment, it does require them knowing how to set up a wallet, how to open an account in an exchange or a fiat off-ramp platform in order to convert that cryptocurrency into fiat, right? And there's all sort of tax implication involved with taking cryptocurrency as well as payment. So that's why there are other players in the crypto payment industry. Coin Payments, one of our partners being one of them, they help businesses take cryptocurrency and stablecoins as a form of payment and instantly convert it to fiat. That way, it's seamless, it's easy, and perhaps to the business owner, they don't even feel like it's crypto. It's just another form of payment that they can accept.
Yeah, I think if I were to add, the question goes, I think, beyond technology itself. I think it's a cultural mind shift for a lot of CFOs, and I think with people, when they think about cryptocurrency, largely think about Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I think what gets lost in the shuffle is this whole concept of stablecoin. So when you think through CFOs that have not sort of grown up or spent time in the Web3 or blockchain space, they think about bringing in cryptocurrency as almost bringing on a volatile asset on their books. So usually when they set up a payment, it's not, or when they think about, well, should we take cryptocurrency as a form of payment, they don't think about it as necessarily a one-to-one risk. So they have to get their chief risk officer, legal involved as well, right? So basically what they say is, well, we're bringing a highly volatile asset on our books, and we're using that as a form of exchange. How do we hedge against the risk that we have on our books now, right? Because, again, Bitcoin, Ethereum, at least, not stablecoins, can have a plus minus 40% over a given, 6 to 12 months, right? And so how do we hedge that against all our other payments that we take in fiat currency? So I think that's one of the things that people have to get over is, you can easily get over that if you look at a stable coin, right? And I know that's in the current environment.
It's funny that we need that like
in the current
justification
environment,
in this
we have
day.
to
It's
talk
like a
about
stable coin. That's fine.
right? There are other alternatives, and so it's a mindset shift as opposed to just not having that option on the books to say, well, do we use it as a form of exchange? Now, I personally, and again, I don't mean to go down a different route, but I personally have a different point of view on cryptocurrency as not so much a form of exchange, but actually an asset store of value, right? So that's again a separate conversation. But for a lot of these CFOs, they don't look at other forms of currency other than Bitcoin and Ethereum because that's sort of what they look at. They look at the volatility and they're like, it's not for us.
As the SVP of strategy for CoinMe, I mean, you work with a lot of these legacy institutions helping CFOs kind of understand this and map this technology. What are your thoughts on that? Because
I think from an operational perspective, a lot of companies have a hard time with this because you have to have someone in-house, you have to hire someone that understands some or all of the moving pieces. And I think that's the difficulty. If you don't have someone in-house that's willing to step up and dive in and manage it, then, for a lot of companies, it's, well, I don't want to hire someone to do this. I don't want to have one of my analysts, spend a bunch of time spinning things up, putting things on paper, right? I mean, most companies, like even CoinMe does this, we get outside counsel legal opinion that, you paper to make sure that you do a CYA to ensure that what you're doing is correct. Like, when I take stable coins, like, what do I need to classify it as? What do I need to do? Whereas with securities, the traditional securities, you're going to be able to get a piece of paper from your brokerage that, at the end of the year, like, shows your exact tax liabilities. You don't necessarily have that yet. Like, Coinbase isn't giving businesses that. So I think there's just some infrastructure that's missing that makes it so it's easy for businesses. I know there's lots of startups that's offering great services and probably solving this problem I'm speaking of right now, but I think the industry needs to do a better job of making businesses aware that this is a solved, easier problem than you imagine.
Mr. AppTech payment rails guy down there on the end.
Hey, yeah, my fellow panelists here covered it pretty well. I would say the biggest thing, to Sun's point here, is around training. Just on a call yesterday with a retailer that wants to take crypto payments, and it just comes down to training and having someone there to actually manage that whole process, understand the highs and the lows of crypto as you're pulling that in. So I think it really comes down to training, and then the KYB aspect is pretty important as well.
So who are you seeing do it well right now? What are some real world applications of this? We've touched on the theory a little bit. I want to get into application. Who do you admire right now in terms of accepting crypto payments and doing it the right way, and either working with your business in a positive way or someone you'd hope to be working with?
Well, Coin Payments, one of our partners, is always a very good source of converting cryptocurrency or stablecoin into fiat currencies. You can also, if you're interested in learning how to do it yourself, right, which is what I typically would want to recommend people because it's not that hard. You open an exchange account, you get KYC or KYB, and then you can convert the cryptocurrency or stablecoins into fiat yourself. And there are also other crypto tax solutions out there that would actually make lives a lot easier for a lot of these people, and they don't even know it exists. Shout out to Zen Ledger here in Seattle, also a local company specialized in crypto taxes. So using their plugin, anyone can plug in their exchange accounts and figure out all the taxes and stay compliant with IRS and be able to control that conversion process themselves. And we're talking specifically about off-ramping, right? Which is regarding using cryptocurrency or stablecoin as a payment. On the opposite side of the same coin, fiat on-ramping into crypto is also an issue right now. That in itself is not fully solved neither. There are a lot of companies out there, including Stably, who are trying to provide Web3s and crypto users easier way to on-ramp into the crypto space. And not just on the largest blockchain ecosystem out there. I'm not talking about Bitcoin or Ethereum. How do you on-ramp from fiat into VeChain? How do you on-ramp from fiat into Stellar or Tezos or some of these smaller names, what we call emerging blockchain ecosystem, right? Like emerging markets, right? There are also emerging blockchain ecosystem. The ones that are small to mid-cap, maybe not $10 billion plus in value, but the ones between 100 million to 10 billion that do have a significant amount of TVL and transaction volume. So yeah, I think the conversation, it should be focused not just on off-ramping, but also on-ramping as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with Corey's point. I think when we think about overall platform and the things that you can do with it, payments is only one piece of it, right? Payments is what the way Corey correctly described. It's really off-ramps from cryptocurrency into fiat currency or cryptocurrency off of your platform. I think the biggest problem is, in fact, getting a frictionless, seamless way of people to bridge their fiat world into the crypto world. And I think people kind of miss out on this middle layer, which they miss out on this thing in the middle where it's TradFi is on your left-hand side and DeFi is on your right-hand side, and there's this middle layer, which is essentially centralized finance, allowing people to just, both retail and institutions, do what they do in the TradFi world, to be able to do it seamlessly without wading completely into the decentralized finance waters, be able to do that in a centralized finance. And what is usually, if any growth hacker, right, looked at this and said, like, what is going to be your biggest challenge? It's seamlessly moving people between TradFi and CeFi, and that's the one thing that's actually missing. So when I hear people saying, well, what are all the like exotic derivative options that we can do? I'm like, first, why don't we fix the basics, which is just allowing people to get fiat currency into cryptocurrency and having a seamless way to do it with stable coins, with other coins as well. And then to just add to that point on how do you get companies and businesses to think about crypto, one way to think about that is payments might be a slightly larger leap for people to take versus looking at it as a vehicle or cryptocurrency as a vehicle of getting returns. So rather than going after the CFO on a payments basis, go after the CFO on a treasury basis. So a lot of these corporate institutions have treasury in there right now, and all they're doing is trying to find returns, right? So there are plenty of ways to get returns, and there are plenty of institutions attacking the return space from taking coins in, borrowing coins, deploying them on DeFi, borrowing coins, and allowing people to get X% of return or yield on their coins. So I think if you get institutions kind of get used to what they've been doing in other places, just on a simple IRR basis, right? Like this is the rate of return you get with this kind of hedging strategy or this kind of return on traditional rails. Why don't I double that, or why don't I give you 3 or 4 points more? And 3 or 4 points more, a treasury, like head of treasury, their eyes will light up, right? And you can easily get them back into this is institutions and corporate treasuries, right? Back into the crypto space without having them decide, well, how do I get technology integrated? How do I hedge my risk against, a volatile asset on my books and things like that? It's a simple way of like, you guarantee X amount of percentage, and then it can go up to Y%.
Going back to on-ramps, CoinMe since 2014 has been focused on providing seamless and easy ways to on-ramp money into crypto. So we started off by offering Bitcoin ATMs at physical locations, and then since have moved on to a partnership model where we enable others via API. So today you can go to a Coinstar machine at your local grocery store and buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies using physical cash, like paper bills. We have a custodial wallet where you can use a debit card to buy crypto using our wallet. But this is intended for a very simple buy, send to a different wallet, or you can use a CoinMe wallet. But that's the problem that we try to solve, and it works really easily. But on top of that, because we have these APIs, we've now partnered with Jack Henry, which is a core banking services provider, to allow banks and credit unions to offer crypto to their customers. So this is solving that very simple on-ramp for bank customers, whether you're an individual or a business, to go log into your bank and buy crypto and hold it there. So, making it very simple to do that. So this is an approach that CoinMe's taken to enable a very simple on-ramp. And then from there, we're trying to get our users to, connect to more sophisticated products like, Celsius, things like that. But yeah, so I think there are ways that are available. We have competitors doing very similar things. The industry is evolving to allow easier ways to on-ramp, but to everyone's point on the panel, it still is a problem.
I'll keep it short. I'm just going to say it's experience at the end of the day, right? Whether it's on-ramp, off-ramp, on-ramps for payments or it's trading, it just comes down to experience. So for us at AppTech, powering those experiences, really being mobile first. I had my hand in the Starbucks app a number of years ago, so my eyes were really wide open when it came to what a good experience meant for most consumers. And for me, if it's not easy, they're not going to do it. It doesn't matter, again, if it's trading or payments, so make it easy.
One thing we talk about a whole bunch at TF Labs and when we work with other groups is blockchain and Web3 is one of the rare industries where the CX can be horrible and the people using it are like, this is the greatest thing, right? Because they overemphasize the tech as opposed to the consumer experience. And we try to focus a lot on start with the CX and back into the tech, right? Let it work that way. So what are on AppTech's side, talk to me about how it's happening really wrong for brands and how you guys think about making it right for brands and what you're doing to make it right for people that want to engage with your Rails.
Yeah, cut work back from the customer, right? At the end of the day, for us, it's just all about the customer experience, kind of as you were stating and leading up here. To be honest with you, I'm coming from AppTech. I come from a very innovative background. I'm coming into an organization that's been around since '98, so they're going through a transformation and kind of learning what crypto is going to be, Web3 is going to be. So we're starting to form that. So selfishly, that's kind of why I'm here, to learn from all these smart people in the room and on the panel and take that back home. So.
Yeah, I think if I were to add to that, if you think about most of the crypto platforms, so whether it's Web3 company, a decentralized finance company, cryptocurrency platform, any of those, and if you go in and you ask what the hiring schedule has been, it's usually hire your engineers first, maybe hire your BD and sales, get some product guys, and like somewhere down that range, I don't know, when you get to 100 employees or so, you're like, yeah, maybe we should hire a UX designer, right? So that's where it is, and like you would never do that on a consumer product on the Web 2 side, right? So bringing in people from the Web 2 side of things, from consumer internet and consumer product side of things, they'll understand that like for the longest time we've like collectively as a community given each other a hall pass on consumer experience and great user flows in UX. And now as you start seeing, this is like Web3 and blockchain can have a bunch of different applications, but really it starts with some kind of financial services, right? Like that's going to be the the killer app that makes Web3 and blockchain work. So if you think about financial services, what is the big thing that is required, at least on the retail side, really even on the institutional side, for people to give their money to you to get something out of it? It's trust, and trust is largely dependent on what people experience when they open an app or open a web app or whatever it is, right? Like in a lot of the cases, it's not so much just like how many awards you have and how much security you have and like, you know, are you compliant and things like that. It's really, if it looks really crappy, it's hard to get mass adoption of people. You'll get the general like DeFi degens, they'll always come in, right? But then if you really want mass adoption, you have to understand that this is a problem, and for the longest time we've given ourselves a hall pass, and it's time to stop.
You know, actually, Stably is going through this phase right now. So in the past year, we launched a product called Stably Prime. It is a fiat to stablecoin on an off-ramp platform. And with that platform, we actually integrate it with over 10 emerging blockchain ecosystem: Stellar, Tezos, Digibit, Chia Network, Icon, among others. And we, you know, processed over $150 million volume through that platform over the last 12 months. However, it is still an account-based UI experience where much like an exchange account, people have to register an account, put their email in, upload their KYC, and they have to go off-site of, you know, whatever DeFi application or Web3 application that they're using. So realizing that, we have a product initiative right now to actually launch what's called Stably Ramp. It is an on and off ramp widget, very similar to MoonPay, right? That could be embedded directly into Web3 application or DeFi protocols. So users don't have to go off the website, don't have to go anywhere, and still be able to utilize that service. So, like you said, user experience is you know, probably more than half of the battle there, not just the tech itself.
So, just to kind of to bring these things into summation, I think we all know, and I think it's readily apparent that the consumer experience, the development is not at a point yet where we're in native in-network currency experiences across all peoples, right? Because otherwise we wouldn't be having this panel, or it would be it works panel. So between, we've got the tech over here, which is great, and we know the tech, we know the implications of it, and we love it. And over there is the consumer experience as it stands right now, or where your average consumer is at in terms of ever being able to utilize any in-network currencies, on-ramp, off-ramp, sort of enjoy the bounty of the fruits of blockchain. So between here and there are you four sitting in the middle. So I just want to hear really quick down the line, what are the giant things, the one thing that you're working on that you're proudest of to try and bridge that gap between the consumer and the full in-network tokenization utilization models that we really want?
So I truly do think that it comes down to user experience. So one thing we've done, at least on my side of things, is we've actually instituted what's in traditional Web 2 called a growth team. So they're responsible for really making the entire funnel smooth, onboarding, getting through KYC, finding different product side doors to get in and out of product, really examining, like running A/B testing on different flows through different kinds of vendors, and figuring out where you get the highest amount of conversion. So truly applying principles of true growth hacking from the Web 2 world into the Web 3 world.
I love it. We need a lot more of that. That's fantastic.
From CoinMe's perspective, we want to incentivize users to use crypto to better their lives. That's always been a mission of ours. And so to that end, there's a $60 billion remittance flow that goes from the US to Mexico. About 80% of that is done with cash, starts as cash, ends with cash. Because if you think about the people that are remitting to Mexico, that's undocumented immigrants or immigrants that don't necessarily trust the banking system. So they go to Western Union, pay outrageous fees to get that money to their friends and family back home. So, you know, from a cash on-ramp perspective, CoinMe has tens of thousands of locations around in the United States. It's soon going to be over 100,000 locations in about 2 or 3 months, and we're using those on-ramps to allow these individuals to buy crypto, stable coins, or even, you know, other cryptos, to then buy and send to their friends and family back home in a really seamless and simple way. So the way we're incentivizing it is allowing them to do this cheaper, faster, easier, and so that the friends and family back home also save money by not having to take it out in cash as well. That's a major project that we have ongoing right now. and we're super excited about it.
So whereas CoinMe sees opportunity in using stablecoin and cryptos to help with the remittance across and cross-border payment between nation states, at Stably, we recognize that there are actually metaverses or blockchain ecosystems, of which actually there are over 110 of them out there, from the biggest, such as Ethereum, down to like the very little known ones, such as DigitalBit, for example. They all have DeFi, decentralized finance activities on them. There's over $200 billion worth of total value locked on these blockchains, 30 to 40% of which are stable coins, right? And over 95% of these 110 plus or so blockchain ecosystem don't have a native stablecoin, or they don't even have fiat to crypto or stablecoin on-ramp into their ecosystem. So there's a lot of opportunity in the real world, but in the meta world, there's also a ton of opportunity that's emerging that we at Stably, as a stablecoin company, are way more than happy to tackle. In fact, actually, there's a lot of blockchain ecosystem, emerging blockchain foundations that have been in discussion with us for stablecoin as a service and bringing stablecoin infrastructure over to their platform. And they were kind of debating last year regarding, what's the future of stablecoin? Is it fiat backed? Is it DeFi? Is it algorithmic? Well, let's just say that right now, a lot of them are really coming back to us and trying to do business again due to recent market events involving certain algorithmic stablecoin, right? So, not to say that I'm anti-algo stablecoin. I'm all for innovation and being creative with, and experimenting with these new decentralized finance application. However, you have to do it responsibly. You have to do it with, a little bit of disclaimer and try not to hype it up too much. Whereas, the regular consumer, they don't know any better, right? It's literally people putting their life savings into those things, and it becomes a really bad story. It doesn't work out at the end of the day. So, yeah.
For AppTech, just truly powering omni-channel experiences, creating an obfuscation layer where, at the end of the day, mainstream America or mainstream world does not care that it's crypto. To be honest with you, I'd rather them not know. It's too confusing, right? I'm trying to explain that. So for us, UI, UX is everything. We just hired 3. It hasn't been hard finding people, fortunately, when you're a company that's innovating, has a proven track record. So for us, it's UI, UX, obfuscation layer, and at the end of the day, what I'd like to kind of propose, there was a question, I think, where we're supposed to kind of ask the audience, right, like what they think. So for me, it's how do we come together, because we're going to be stronger together, how do we come together and create UX principles, maybe even crowdsource UX that we can use across different companies to start to train up these mainstream users and these consumers out there. So,
Well, we started doing these conferences in 2018, and we've come a long way, and there's still a long way to go in terms of bringing this to people. So thank you, each and every one of you, for building and for being a part of the ecosystem and driving this home. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd love for you to give them a round of applause for being up here. Thank you so much, everyone.